welcome into Pregaming with Bordzy, who is not here.
Yeah.
It's Liam and Michael Menzies. You may remember him from the hit show on Oilersnation Every Day. Menzies, welcome to the Pregaming show.
It's a pleasure to be here. You know, I thought maybe it didn't go so well the first time. It took a few weeks to come back,
Yeah.
but I know, hey, you guys have, quite the roll call of guests. You know, Dave Pignota, he's like Pedro Pascal these days. I mean, he's everywhere. So I get it. You got a lot of horses in the stable, and certainly interested to see how the Oilers play tonight. And hopefully we can handicap and break it down pretty well, because it's an interesting spot for this team tonight.
Yeah, to say the least. And also, too, sometimes the Oilers play certain teams, and it comes with what I like to call the name stigma. The Dallas Stars.
Yeah.
So I think when we actually go through a few things here, you maybe won't be as intimidated, I think is probably a fair assessment.
Sure.
So far.
Yeah.
As I say that, I'll read QF Pro's comment in the chat, who said, "I don't hate Liam. I just hate that he jinxes all our games."
Well, last night I'll take some blame. Oilers are up 2-0, of course, as we know, to the St. Louis Blues, and I, smarty pants over here decides let's really comment on this hockey game and say that the St. Louis Blues look like a fragile hockey team right now.
Yeah, of course.
And you know what? They did.
They did.
The building was dead. It was bleak. They weren't getting any bounces. You know, Pickard made that save early, the toe save, and it seemed like one of those games that if the Oilers leaned on their opponent a little bit more earlier, that the Blues may have shut down. But they were able to stay within two. But anyway, my tweet, jinx, here you go. No
Classic.
points out of that one. So
yeah, I've never, ever been in that spot before. My tweets are all very thought out.
yes.
The consequences, I think about them before I send out the tweet. I never just automatically put a thought out there and bam. What could possibly happen?
Well, I was never a huge tweeter until lately. I used to think, that maybe not every thought I had needed to be shared, and why would people care what I thought? But now I feel this immense pressure,
of course,
to chime in on all things Oilers and other stuff. So, but nevertheless, I think you guys broke it. Like, I don't know how much we want to talk about last night.
Well, we'll definitely get into it a little bit.
Yeah, this team right now, and I saw there was someone who responded on Twitter, and I listened to it, Friedman on Stauffer earlier, talking about that there's a bit of a malaise, for lack of a better term, with this team right now. I think that's fair. There is, I think, a fatigue with this team. I think there is there's no joy de vie, in other words, of like, a joy to going out there and playing the game. It feels at times like, they're getting a root canal out on the ice, and like it's painful. And even when, they do have good things happen, which does happen quite often for the Oilers, they do make the right play, but there isn't that energy or pull them into the fight factor that I think we've seen other editions of the Oilers over the McDavid and Draisaitl era have, and I think that has plagued them. And there's a few different, there's a specific plays. I mean, Pickard wasn't any good. He made a few big saves, no doubt, but overall, I don't think he was good enough.
I think so too. I think when you look at the goals that actually went in, you needed a little bit more from him on that side of things.
Yeah.
I already got a text from producer Brad, who said, "Liam, you have to do the Bet365 ad read. You're supposed to do it the first 30 seconds of the show." And here we are, 6 minutes.
You got distracted me putting sugar in my coffee here, which arrived just in time. That's right.
So here we are, 5:06, Brad. Here is your Bet365 ad read. Obviously, we all know it by now. It is never ordinary at Bet365. Whatever your bet is, it's never ordinary at Bet365. You can download the app today and get in on the game. Use the code NATION. That's over at Bet365. Must be 19 years or older. We'll definitely be getting into our Bordzy's bankroll later on as well. You have a bet. We'll get into that a little bit later. And I have a couple as well. And you know what? May as well parlay them together because you can do that.
I would, in terms of responsible gambling, just be careful with parlays. That's all I'll say. Take it from someone who's
Yes.
learned the hard way. But there should be an opportunity tonight, or at least I think that there's a good trend if you want to try and make a little scratch from this game tonight. But yeah, I mean, we know. I think it's been pretty thoroughly dissected, no matter which stream or information source you get. Last night, the Oilers didn't play well.
No.
That was not good enough.
No,
that's the bottom line.
There's moments of spark, I guess we can call it, a twinkle in their eyes.
Yeah.
But for the most part, it was just like, what is going on? This isn't the team that we all know and love and have seen do so well over the past few years. But I just want to say this to everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Act like you've been here before. Act like you've watched this team struggle every October and into early November.
Right.
Because this is the third year in a row this has happened. So all you national writers out there and news outlets, I get it. I do a lot of the work on the YouTube here at Oilers Nation. I understand what a clickbait thumbnail might look like to get you in.
For sure.
But I know all of you deep down know that this doesn't matter. They're playing bad. They're playing bad, and they need to find their consistency a little bit. But to be so upset that he's saying like the season's over, like Bouchard's a disaster, the Connor McDavid's gone in however many years he's signed for is all wrong. They're playing bad, and you should be upset about that. But don't let it put you down for the entire week.
Well, yeah, and I mean, this is why I wasn't like super optimistic or convinced when McDavid told us that. Well, I mean, he didn't predict it Messier like or anything like that, but he did say, we want to get off to a good start, and I thought, well, I'll believe it when I see it.
Yep.
Because I mean, there's just an accumulation here. I mean, you have the fatigue of back-to-back seasons going to the Stanley Cup final, and tonight will be the Oilers' 13th game in 22 days.
Yes.
13th game in 22 days. I wrote late last week about ice times and what November is going to mean.
It's an interesting month.
And, we've seen a lot of games where McDavid and Draisaitl have tickled close to or over 25 minutes. The November stretch, we're going to end this stretch tonight, and there's going to be finally a chance to breathe, finally a chance to practice, hopefully a chance for them all to get drunk together or something like that.
Halloween party's got to be coming up these 3 days off.
Yeah, something like that where they can, get out of the stretch. Again, 13 games in 22 days, and then they can stare down the barrel of what November has in store for them, which is a lot of road games. And I would suggest that the Oilers at home versus what they are on the road are two completely different teams.
Yeah.
I think that's what we've seen so far this year.
I completely agree. And it seems to be a storyline that is just like being so undervalued in all of this. And I think the big reason why it's being like under recognized is they just haven't played at home. What they played 4, 5 home games now. I think this last little stretch. I guess
I think it's
3?
6. I think 6 total.
The
2 to start.
The Montreal game was kind of mixed into the road trip. Almost.
Yeah.
So it's just like, look, and when I say this, things probably won't get too much easier for them because they have so many road games in November, of course. But they are now 2-5-1 on the road to start the season. I don't think it's anything too worrisome. I just think they've been on the road almost too much to start the year.
Well, there's no doubt. I mean, and where that will balance out eventually for the Oilers, well, they will have stretches that there's a lot of consecutive home games, and they'll be able to settle down a little bit. But they're gonna get a 7-gamer later here in November with back-to-backs and finish that road trip in Florida.
Yeah.
That's the 7th. That's the last game of the trip on, I believe, November 22nd, I want to say, right?
Yes, it is.
So, this spot tonight, I think, is going to end a chapter of the Oilers season. And they're either going to be 500 or they're going to be 2 games above 500. Well, I mean, or they had another one in an OT or shootout loss. But this feels like a way, if they can get a win tonight, okay, you exhale. And in terms of the wins and losses, you're up to above 500. Otherwise, they're staring down a situation where you're going to have 3 days off. You're 500 and presumably looked how they've looked in just about every road game so far this year. And there's going to be a whole lot of conjecture about what's wrong. And really, there's a little bit wrong with everything. and some things are more wrong than others at times, right? So this is where I think, and it'll be something we talk about in the post game, depending on what the result is, as we kind of, put a punctuation mark on this chapter.
Yeah, 100%. I got to get some more ad reads here.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at the Odd Company. I don't know if you call it the Odd Company YouTube chat, to be honest, on this one, Brett, but we will tonight, my friend. We're going to take a look at the Odd Company YouTube chat. You can go check out their 2 locations, downtown or the Ritchie location, which is just off White Ave as well. I'm not sure if their patio's still open, but even if it's not, they have beer inside too, believe it or not.
Yeah, inside. We're getting to that time where being inside is a real treat.
Yeah,
so.
that's what you want to be. Or you can also come down and hang out with us at Dogpatch as well. We'll be here for tonight's game.
Yep.
They got a couple of screens here. I believe they'll have audio on as well for the game, which will just be a nice treat. It's also pizza night down here at Dogpatch. So, I mean, you got quite a little treat there for yourself as well.
Yeah, I'm anticipating to have some Zaw tonight, so I'm looking forward to that. Miko Rantanen bobblehead night in Dallas tonight.
More on
too.
That.
So there'll be we'll break down the bobblehead in a minute. Yeah,
exciting stuff over in the YouTube chat. Bob Stofford said, where are you guys at right now? That is a fire set. We're down at Dogpatch. This is all the music they play. I believe they also do a DJ night typically on Wednesdays. Our pal Eli is around for that one. If you ever wanted to meet Eli, they can come down here.
Can I just touch on, I mean, I looked through the vinyl here, and I do collect a little bit. A couple purposeful choices. We got the Who Sellout, not their most famous album, but notice the Who Sellout. I mean, we got the big ads, the Heinz and Baked Beans with Roger Daltrey there, but the Oilers will need to sell out in order to get 2 points. Well, Principe's in the room. And then we have Cream, Wheels of Fire. If you like blues rock, heavy blues rock from the 60s, you'll know Cream. And hopefully the Dallas Stars' wheels will be on fire after tonight.
Which they definitely could be. Again, don't be scared. They're not that good. The Oilers also might not be that good either, but more on that at 6. There was another comment in here. People asking for the flag game. What do you think about flags? Any flag knowledge?
I saw someone that we went to radio and television school in class match every country to their flag in 20 minutes.
Who was it?
Michael Mancini.
Was he? Oh, Mancini.
Yeah, not me. Oh, Michael Menzies. Michael Mancini.
Okay.
Mancini did it. I have very cursory knowledge of flags, very basic knowledge of flags.
I bet I could beat him.
I don't know, man.
Question in here from Amanda. Hi, guys. Who's the new friend with Liam tonight? I haven't seen his face before. This is Michael. Michael and I went to radio school together. Yep. He's been, I won't say exactly what you said upstairs before, but been hanging out in Bonneville for quite a few years.
That's right.
He's the voice of the Bonneville Pontiacs, if you recognize the voice a little bit more. And now he works for us here at Oilersnation. And he writes articles in full old English.
Yeah, I did that once. Hey, like I told you as I exited Oilersnation every day, I sing for my supper. You want poems, limericks, articles written in certain fonts or styles, news stories. I was a news reporter for 7 years. I've done a lot of different stuff. I've done a lot of different stuff. I hosted a couple weeks ago a political forum back in Bonneville. That was like the one thing I hadn't done, and I got hired to come back and do it. And I moderated a Ward 2 MD of Bonneville and Reeve forum. Yeah.
You want to get into some politics, or
I could if you really want, but the Conservative Party released a video today that was a Full House spoof called Full Budget. That's all I'm gonna say.
I didn't think they had enough money to pay, so
exactly.
Travis is in, and he said, we want more Menzies. Do you know Travis? Because Travis comes on our shows a lot and says, we want this.
No, that's organic. That's organic.
I'm a big fan of yours, Menzies, but no one else is saying this.
Hey, they, what? People don't know what they want. You have to give it to them, right? That's what Noel Gallagher says of Oasis. They don't know what they want. You got to give it to them. So here's a taste tonight for you. So
Aaron Bodado, the normal host of the show, ask him what we're going to get for dinner. It's pizza night down at Dogpatch.
Yeah, I think
we're
pizza.
Going to get some pizza. Let's move on to some need to know.
Will Evan Bouchard serve up a pizza or two to the Dallas Stars?
We can assume that'll probably happen late in the third period. Need to know information brought to you by Will Hawk Beef Jerky. Only the finest tasting meat products earn the Will Hawk name. made from 100% pure Alberta beef. Wilhauk is aged, seasoned, marinated, smoked to savory perfection. So good. Wilhauk beef jerky gladly fills orders of any size. Find their beef jerky, sausage, or other products exclusively out of their Leduc location, or you can also order online, which is willhawkbeefjerky.com, believe it or not.
Excellent. That makes a lot of sense. Makes it real easy for SEO. That's good.
You ever had a Wilhauk beef jerky?
I have. Actually,
it's unbelievable.
It's unbelievable, and I know Trent, big supporter of the Alberta Junior Hockey League out in Olds. His son was in
your class.
Was in our class in radio and television. So yes, Alex would bring in some Wilhauk beef jerky occasionally and share with the class. So that was a real treat.
It was so good. Okay, let's get into some need to know information. We dug into the road trip a little bit like that, and how the record has been so poor. I guess my question to you, Michael, would be, I guess, what is the biggest difference been for you between home games and road games? Like, what's something you were noticing that the Oilers are doing maybe too much and are failing to do when they're on the road?
Well,
compared to a home.
On the earlier road trip, the Eastern swing, I thought we saw the team regroup and try to control breakout almost exclusively. Like, we saw very few rushes in that 5-game stretch. And now I know I'm going back a couple of weeks ago, but I've noticed that fewer times at home. I think the team is more willing to break out the puck on the rush at home and get into more of a dynamic type of game. It seems that they're coming in with a real road mindset of, let's get out of the first period, either scoreless or maybe score one, keep it low. I know Knobloch had a comment that was resurfacing out of the Utah game, where obviously at home they blew them out, and was saying that, hey, we scored 4 or 5 even strength goals. That's about as many as you score in about 4 or 5 games. Well, hopefully not, Chris. I didn't know that was the plan, or that was like a mindset idea that, the coaching staff has. So, I think the team they appear way more fatigued on the road and try to play more low event hockey, where they try to say, and I get where the team's at, good teams, as they know that there's an 82 game season and hopefully a long playoffs. And this year in Olympics know that, emptying the tank in October and November is not going to be good for them. That said, I think their minimum effort has to rise on the road. And tonight especially, Dallas is missing a few key contributors. We'll get to their lineup in a couple minutes, but they're going to work. Yeah. I mean, their bottom 6 in particular is going to work. And the Oilers can't just, tiptoe through the tulips here to try to start themselves in this hockey game. Like, they have to come with that work. And again, 13th game in 22 days, but you're going to have to dig deep. You get a few days off tomorrow.
Totally. We got a super chat in from Lance Kane, $12.50. All our super chats go to the Ben Stelter Foundation.
Awesome.
Great foundation. And if you missed it today, Mike Stelter was actually on The Source with Ryder and Lisa.
Great.
So you can go back and catch their show. Again, $12.50 from Lance Kane. He asked the question, Michael, which has been a burning topic today at Oilers Nation.
Yes.
Liam, figure out your damn towel situation. Absolutely insane behavior. Yeah, and he said, cup you, which is something these guys do on the show. I don't quite have the power those guys have.
Yeah.
But my towel situation. So there's a question today, and Southpaw also asked this question. How often do you wash your towels? Bonus question. How many towels do you use after you shower?
So I don't wash my hair every day.
Fair enough.
Because I have longer hair. Yeah, I have longer hair. And, I'm not going to get into follicle theory for you here, but, I space about every other day the washes. I'd say a typical Menzies towel gets about 3 to 4 runs through the body before I decide to switch it out. My friends would joke, because whenever people would come to visit me in Bonnyville, stay the night, I typically had the towels were always in the washer and dryer, because I thought, well, I'll give them a fresh towel. That would just seem to make sense. And I only owned 2, maybe 3 maximum proper towels. So anyways, that would be my kind of ratio, probably between you and Tyler.
Did you see the feud?
I caught I caught the glimpse of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I saw a peek. Yeah.
Quite a fan of showering.
Yes.
You know, cleanliness. I feel like it's something we should all strive
Cleanliness
for.
is close to godliness, as they say, right? Yeah.
So yeah, I'm showering 2-3 times a day. I'll definitely be showering when I get home tonight. It's been a long day for me.
yeah.
And people were quite thrown off that I use 2 towels.
Yeah, the 2 towel thing I've never done. I don't quite
No.
do like a Marge Simpson, have all the hair up with one and then the body gets the rest. It all gets the same.
I just like
towel.
to get on with my day. Like I don't linger around just being like, well, when's my body gonna dry? Like just wrap me up.
You made it sound like drying yourself is such a
It's
long part
yeah.
of the day,
Well,
you
it
know.
depends how long you shower, I guess. But
I'm sorry. You shower 2 to 3 times a day?
on average, I would say. Once in the morning, of course, and then sometimes in the evening when I get home from work, depending on the day, and then before bed, typically.
I wish I had that time. That is,
Yeah, I don't have the time to take all these goddamn showers.
5
I
minutes.
find that nuts.
It's so funny. Brett's so quiet in my ear, and Brett is currently not sat down.
Yes.
There's a Dogpatch, so all of a sudden this voice just shows up in my ear.
I know, it's like your inner conscience just starting to
Yeah.
talk to you. It was like, oh,
Who is that? God?
yeah.
Um,
No, it's Morgan Freeman.
It's Morgan Freeman. Okay, continuing on the need to know information. Connor McDavid is assisted on 5 straight goals for the Edmonton Oilers. So that would obviously just be last game and obviously the Chicago Blackhawks game as well on
Yeah.
Saturday night, which no one watched because the Toronto Blue Jays played.
Okay, I was in the building.
Oh, yeah, you
and
were.
so I was in the building for that, and it was a strange experience as a fan because you're looking down at your
Yeah.
phone, and then in the breaks of the game, the TV timeouts and the intermissions, yeah, it's playing, and I mean, it wasn't like it was an inconsequential game. It was Game 7, and arguably one of the greatest Game 7s
in Canadian baseball history.
Yeah, certainly Canadian baseball, and Major League history. So it was bizarre, but in the third period they shut it down.
Yeah,
I'm sure
I
the
think
players on the bench said something. Yeah,
based off some post game comments, I think it was from the players. But it was an interesting conversation with McDavid, and it seems to get lost. So, like last game, McDavid did not have a shot on goal. We all heard about it. Drysdale didn't have it. Tyler actually dug up the stat. It's not been since 2016 that neither of those players have had a shot on goal in the same game, which is crazy stat. But my question is, like, did people forget he had 2 points in the game? You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
what if you kind of thought of Connor McDavid there over this last little bit? He's not scoring the goals like he advertised he was going to, but he still has 19 points on the season.
My biggest concern about McDavid's game is just more so in a strange way, how predictable he's been this year.
I think so too. In a few games, it's like he's almost skating into the traffic.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's either doing the pat and straight down the middle, kick it out wide to the wall, but usually he's applying the brakes at the half wall and passing it backward, a saucer pass backward somewhere, someplace. Is Connor McDavid fully healthy?
I had this debate today on Oilersnation Radio about Matthias Ekholm as well. And here's my question: I'll pose this question. I'll also give you my thoughts. If you're not healthy, don't play. Like I'm just over this idea of like Zach Hyman right now isn't playing because he's not healthy, and now he's expected target to get back. It's been pushed back a week. We obviously know Ekholm was going through something. He had to summon to rehab. If you're not healthy, just sit out for a couple of games. And I understand like. You don't want to miss games because they're all competitors, all that good stuff. But if you're not playing well anyway, what's the difference? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think the Oilers are a deep enough group that they can survive 1 or 2 games without a McDavid or an Ekholm or whoever it may be.
Yeah.
Because they might have to do it down the road anyway.
Yes. Well, this is why I think the record of the overall team is a lot easier to stomach if it was rookie mistakes being made by rookies. But instead, it's by rookie mistakes being made by your best player or your troubled goaltending situation. And I thought that, as Knobloch, as we all know, put together, 21 different line combinations to start the year. But I'd like to see more for players that don't yet really have a defined role on the team.
Yeah.
Savoy Howard. I mean, I've got Frederick in my notes.
Yeah, you want to get into that?
I'm very concerned about Trent Frederick.
In what way?
Well, I'm concerned on the macro level of I didn't like the contract to begin with.
Yeah.
For what we saw him do as an Oiler, and I'm trying to figure out what is Frederick's role. You know, when I was on with you a month ago, I said I want to see him play center. To me, it makes sense. If you signed your third line center for 8 years, that makes a whole lot of sense.
Much like Tampa did with Nick Paul.
Right. Yes.
Middle six center, 8-year contract, decent money.
If we're just penciling that in for the next 8 seasons, and that, okay, I can understand that. He doesn't play any specialty teams.
Yeah.
He doesn't kill penalties. I would want to find out if Trent Frederick can kill penalties, because that could be a role where this makes sense.
Yeah.
He's starting to lay some big hits. But part of the unfair thing that Frederick has on his shoulders is that he comes in, he profiles as a player that plays with an edge, and the Oilers have no edge to their game. They lost it when Perry and Kane left in the offseason.
Mm-hmm.
And that has to be his type of role. And otherwise, I find that he's the second player to the puck in puck races. And for a hard to play against guy, loses pucks in puck battles. So I'm a little concerned about Frederick right now, about where his role is on this team right now.
Yeah, the penalty killing thing is interesting because he mentioned over the summer as well as that, like he said, he's like, I can penalty kill. I was surprised too, and maybe it was a bit more of a statement than we realized at the time that they went with David Tomasek on the top unit because of Trent Frederick started the season on the first line with McDavid and Draisaitl. I was like, well, why would you not play him on the power play as well? Maximize the reps. He's capable of finishing.
That told us that Frederick was never going to stay in the top line. If you're not trusted to play in the top power play,
how can you stay there? Yeah.
How can he play in that top line?
100%.
So I didn't see that sticking around for the long term.
And
right?
now obviously Jack Roslovic is on that line too, and he seems to have found a role on him. But just on Frederick, we all saw it with Podkolzin last year. And take the money aside, and I know some people can't do that, and that's fine. He makes almost $4 million. He has 1 goal so far this season. But last season with Podkolzin, it took him a long time to find his offense, but you knew every single game he was going to give you some jams, some physicality. He was moving his feet.
Mm-hmm.
Where Freddie, we saw it last game. I thought he had a decent game physically. He was involved, a big hit on Colton Parayko. And then we saw it against Vancouver as well, finished with 8 hits. And then in between, it's been fine. And before that, it wasn't very good. It's like, okay, so if you can keep playing physical at the very least and mucking it up a little bit. Like he had a great play yesterday, actually, to Lazar, where he gave a nice hard pass through the guy's defenseman's legs, and Lazar got his stick in it. Good save by Binnington. But like, you need to see that stuff because I think fans are starting to see that a little bit from Adam Henrique right now, having a pretty decent start to the season, a couple of goals. I think he's at 5-6 points, whatever it may be, but like he's contributing consistently to the lineup. And I'm a fan of Frederick. I know I'm one of the few, but I think this contract will figure itself out and be okay because 2 reasons. One, I think he's a good player when he's going. The second one, they have no choice to figure it out.
Well, you're right. They have no choice. I'm still not super convinced on the first part. I'm not.
That he's good?
I'm not convinced.
No?
At least I have not seen it in an Oilers sweater for more than a game and a half.
I mean, totally
out of 30 some. So that's where that's where my alarm bells are ringing a little bit, and that's why I didn't, okay, yeah, they signed him to the deal, but let's see, he was hurt, And I'm just saying, for a team that needs jam, I'm not criticizing them in terms of the goal scoring. It's the intangible side, and is he going to be able to get a role on this team? Because this feels to me like a game that the Oilers have to match the Stars' intensity, and there has to be somebody willing to get in there and grind. And because they've got Harley and they've got Heiskanen, who can, when they're playing well, can control 40, 45 minutes a game.
Mm-hmm. Let's get into the Dallas Stars a little bit as we continue our need-to-know information. A couple of quick notes before we talk about your article today. The Dallas Stars power play is similar where they thrive so far this season. 31.7% on the power play. Mikko Rantanen is currently tied the NHL lead with Connor McDavid and Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, who's been a really good player since the start of the Oilers season, both with 9 points. Wyatt Johnson has 6 of them. You can see here on the graphic, the Breadman has pulled up, averaging 2.7 goals a game. The Dallas Stars, 2.9 goals against. The penalty kill has been somewhere where they struggled. They're actually very similar to the Oilers in many ways, where their power play has pushed them along, and their penalty kill has kind of struggled. But just quickly on 5-5 as well, to go off that power play point, the only team in the Western Conference, that has fewer goals than the Dallas Stars is the Calgary Flames.
Yeah.
The Dallas Stars only have 33 goals to start the season. Maverick Bork, Rope Hintz both have 1. Jason Robertson, has 3, and Johnston and Rantanen are kind of carrying a load of 7 and 5. But what did you kind of find in your research of the Dallas Stars?
Well, they've been streaky to start the year. They were scoring a lot in their first 3 games. They scored 5 each in their first 3 games. They were 3-0. Then they lost 4 straight. In their last 6, they've collected points in their last 6, and they lost in tough against Florida at Florida on Saturday, but a game that they were down 2 and found a way to get a point and force that game into overtime. So they're not at full capacity right now. They don't have all their bullets in the chamber. But with that said, you're getting a team that I think goal scoring wise, you look at it, 3 or less, or I think they've had 1 goal or been shut out 4 times this year. And even in this last stretch where they're getting points, it's a lot of 3-1, 3-2. It was 4-3 against Florida. Tight hockey games is what we've seen them play lately. So,
and the Oilers have been in tight hockey games. They just keep coming out on the wrong side of them. But even you look at that St. Louis game yesterday, they suppressed the offense of St. Louis for the most part. They just didn't get the saves. Stuart Skinner will get the start tonight. We'll get into that a little bit too. But I think this is a very winnable game for the Oilers because Dallas is missing a lot of players. And we'll quickly get into that lineup report, Brett, if you want to pull that one up. The Dallas Stars home lineup report is brought to you by Oodle Noodle. The top line for the Dallas Stars: Jason Robinson, Wyatt Johnson, and Mikko Rantanen. Second line: Tyler Seguin, Sam Steele, local product, but probably not a second line center.
No.
If you told me this after his draft year, I would have believed you, but maybe not 10 years later. Maverick Bork as well on the third line for them. On the second line. The third line, our old friend Adam Ernie, who I once said after Heritage Classic, maybe keep those overalls, Adam. You might need him down the road.
Ernie deserves some credit. He went through a hip injury last year, almost missed the complete season, and on a PTO got a job here with Dallas. So
and those players deserve the credit because that's not easy. To get a PTO, but to also come back from that injury and then make it to you. Credit to him.
So Ernie's an example as a guy, and we'll get to the fourth. You can rattle off the fourth line here.
I was going to say Radek Faxa on the third line center. Nathan Bastian, who's famously known for being claimed in the expansion draft. He was on the New Jersey Devils, and then to be immediately traded back to the New Jersey Devils. Of course, we all know Nathan Bastian. Oscar Back, who did make an appearance last season in the Western Conference Finals. And
the Oilers have to get back to business. Sorry, I could do Principe all day long.
On the right wing is Colin Blackwell, and center, let me get my pronunciation in, Justin Richkovian. Who is a hell of a story, which we will get into quickly here as well as I complete the lineup report as I lost my... There it is. Blue line, Esa Lindell, Miro Heiskanen, Thomas Harley. Really solid top 3. Ilya Labushkin is a fine defenseman. Same with Liam Bichelle and Alec Petrovic. But a blue line that you can still expose. The Oilers' blue line is better than this, I think.
It can be.
Yeah, it can be.
It can be.
Yeah.
But almost by virtue of the strength of Heiskanen and Harley, if you were to power rating wise, I would like Dallas's slightly better.
Especially
because when you have two, you got 2 guys that can play that way, and Harley obviously a 10.59 annual 10.59.
It was something stupid like that.
It was an odd number.
The big headline, obviously, though, for the Dallas Stars, they are missing a few players. Rupe Hintz not in the lineup along with Matt Duchene. But the big notable is Jake Ottinger will not play tonight for the Dallas Stars. It is Casey DeSmith who is in the game tonight for Dallas. He has played 3 games so far this season, has a 3.28 goals against average and an 8.73 save percentage. But as you guys know, I'm an anti-save percentage man. Sorry, 7.9. I got the wrong stat. Not my stat save percentage. What do you think about save percentage?
I mean, I like it more than goals against average.
Really?
Yeah, I do.
Oh,
yeah, save
interesting.
percentage. Yeah, I don't know. There's you drown in stats today.
Oh,
Even when I
totally.
write these pre-scouts, and I wonder, like, do they really want to know the PDO of, the Utah right now? Like, I'm even getting more comfortable with them. I lean more on save percentages. than you.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I lean on making my own stats up and pushing my own narratives.
Yes.
What else?
Mark Spector's here. No, I'm.
What else can you tell us about the Dallas Stars? I know you mentioned this already, but let's push this one again.
Mikko Rantanen bobblehead night.
Yeah, that's not good
tonight. So yeah, that's a little bit of those mojo situations where they're feeling good about Rantanen, and I just think the storyline of obviously with like Nietzsche signing now, extending in Colorado. I've just found it fascinating, all the maneuvering that happened with Rantanen last year. He's landed here, and they're going to be division rivals for the next decade approximately. But it is, it is Rantanen bobblehead night. And did you see injured Cardinals quarterback Kyler Murray wore a Dallas Stars 99 Cup winning jersey of Mike Modano?
I didn't see that. I was still getting over the fact he wore a Mike Vick Virginia Tech one with his dog with him. That was quite the statement.
What happened to Mike Vick? Why is that controversial? What happened there?
Google it in your own time, folks. We won't get into that tonight.
30 for 30, yeah.
Quickly going over to the Odd Company YouTube chat. Nick is in and says Liam's quality start meter for life. The quality start meter is great. I think it's fair to say if I did make it up myself.
It's this, and this.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Yeah.
Goaltending is a pretty simple position.
Yeah.
Stop the puck.
Yeah.
Was it your fault? Was it his fault?
Yeah.
Most of the time it's his goalie's fault, but I like the quality start meter. I do feel like the Oilers need an upgrading goal, one way or another. If it's Pickett, whichever way you're going to do it. But they do give them good starts, and sometimes they just allow one bad goal, and everyone's like, worst game ever. So, no, this isn't all their fault. But some people just don't want to hear that.
Well, you're like one of the judges from a dodgeball. It's either this or that or here. Thank you, Chuck Norris.
On the Dallas Stars, just one thing I wanted to point out quickly as well. A decent amount of movement from the offseason from when we saw them in the Western Conference Finals against the Oilers. Mason Marchment, Mikhail Granlund, Evgeny Dadonov, all gone. Unfortunately, Cody Ceci isn't playing tonight. He's actually in LA and ruining their playoff instead. And also Matt Dumba, wish he was still around in Dallas. But hey,
well, take my hand and let's walk down Narrative Street for a second here and remember what happened in the West Final, where there was a certain slash on Rupe Hintz. And then there was a certain hit by Marchment on Hyman. But Hyman's not in. Marchment's not there. Hintz isn't in tonight.
I heard he's still suffering.
But he's definitely feeling the effects.
Yeah.
And Jamie Benn isn't in.
That's another one. Yeah, Jamie
Corey
Benn's
Perry's not here. Evander Kane's not here.
Yeah.
So, I don't think we're going to get a McCarty Lemieux type of, we've had this state circled, but you'll remember even that year, it was like the third or fourth game. It wasn't until, everybody was back from injury. So I don't know if we'll get the fireworks, if there will ever be any, but there was some, blunt force trauma that happened here the last time these teams played.
The other thing I'll say, Jake Ottinger isn't playing because he had a child. His wife had a child.
Yeah.
It's not because he got pulled in Game 6 of last season. ESPN will make you believe that was the worst thing that ever happened in his career. He's not playing because of the birth of his child, not because he's terrified.
He's not out due to hurt feelings?
No.
Yeah.
But Mike, did you see that?
No, I didn't. I saw you guys talking about it today, and
I could not believe it when I was seeing it with my own eyes. It was ridiculous. What a crazy documentary to put together. Anyway, let's go on to the The away lineup, which is brought to you by Greta. If you're looking for somewhere to check out games, go check out.
I think this is
their
the
spot
Oilers lineup, isn't it?
Yes, it
The
is.
away lineup.
The away lineup is the Edmonton Oilers. Our boss, Jay Downton, strolls by there. Brett, I didn't pull it up yet, but I'm pretty sure it's the exact same lineup, right? Unless something has changed.
An Oilers lineup is the exact.
Can you
is the
whisper?
exact same?
Can you whisper?
They're
Brett?
actually change just came in, so I'm bringing that in right now. The Oilers just hit the ice for warm-ups.
Who got that
Da-da-da,
one, Brett, man?
Da-da-da.
This could be anyone. I would guess Alec Regula was activated today off IR.
Yes.
So I would think, there it is. Jim Mathesonson. Oilers take out Alec Regula, bring in Alec Regula as well, and Ty Emerson out of the lineup tonight. Tomasek was never stayed out for 3 straight games, but the jury very much out where he fits in. What have you thought of David Tomasek as we wait for these lines?
I think he's been okay. I think.
Okay, I think a fair statement.
I think he's been okay.
Oh, he is in the lineup. Sorry.
Yeah. So, and that's what Matheson was saying. That there's no way he was going to be out for 3 straight.
I misread it. I panicked.
No, I get it. You're under the gun. I think he's been okay. And obviously, he's got some nice underlying numbers that suggest that, he's been beneficial to creating offense.
Yeah.
I just worry with players that are more of those older pros that if they don't get an early goal, that it can linger. I was an Anton Lander defender. I was the last one. I was the last one. We were the last ones on Lander Island as the planes were going.
Even Lander left.
I was like Rambo, where the war was over and I was still out in the jungle fighting. And but Lander was a type of guy that was right in on a ton of chance, but could not score.
Yeah.
He could not score. And I'm not saying Tomasek is going to be in that situation. That's just my concern. And hopefully he continues creating, and he's able to get the bottom 6 a little added jump and can provide a goal or two.
Yeah, hopefully. I did find it interesting they put him on the power play earlier in the season, as we discussed already. But these are your lineups from Bob Stoffer, the real Bob Stoffer, Nugent Hopkins with McDavid and Mangiapane, Podkolzin and Draisaitl Roslovic, which has been a pretty solid second line for them, I would say. Matt Savoy on the third line with Adam Henrique and Trent Frederick. Would like a little bit of juice from that line tonight. Scoring wise, I think they've been perfectly fine everywhere else, to be honest. Fourth line, Ike Howard stays in along with Noah Phil, but David Tomasek checking in for Curtis Lazar, the former Edmonton Oil King, who we'll see what happens. I had a bet he would play 41 and a half games this season.
No, not a lot seems to back that
strongly against me. Pairings, Matthias Ekholm, Evan Bouchard, Donald Nurse with Jake Wallman, Brett Kulak with Alec Regula, who makes only his 3rd appearance of the season after missing some time following Evander Kane's crushing blows to him in that Vancouver game earlier in the year. Stuart Skinner will get the start tonight. Do you make anything of this lineup? Anything else?
Well,
you
let
would
me
like to have
just
seen?
tail off that point you just made. Philp went in right after that hit was laid, and sure, that was a penalty that they called, and it put the Oilers shorthanded in a 1-goal game. But you know what? In game 2 of the year, for a guy that had worked his bag off to come back from injury, and Philp was the one that stepped up, and more so than he scored, which has been good. But again, for a team that is desperately lacking another way to change the game besides scoring on the power play, which the Oilers don't have much dimension in right now, I thought that was big of Philp to do, and I'm really happy to see Regula back in.
Seems to have been a nice little addition.
Yes, and Emerson, it's one of those, look, and this is where I don't get caught up hugely all the time, and this player's in, this player's out. It's an 82-game season. When you're in the bottom, there's going to be times where Emerson was all right, but tonight we want to see Regula, and it would have been the game to scratch Bouchard. I don't think they were going to.
I don't think they ever should.
That's fair. I mean, I'm not even saying that they should either. But if there was a game, because you're going to have a break here,
I suppose in that sense,
that you could, and then maybe he just said, okay, we'll reconvene Saturday against Colorado
and go from there.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I know it could just be like an earthquake all the time, shaky, Bouchard. And look, he was He was junk on the game-winning goal again. You can't do that. There's stuff that you just can't do that he's been doing, and that's the bottom line. It makes sense why people are frustrated. We know he's super skilled with the puck.
Yeah.
We know that. We know what he's done in the playoffs, but hugely beneficial. But there are certain things that you just can't do. And even in the Chicago game, he scored the game winner in the third period. He had a roller coaster. You just want to see just even less event hockey sometimes with Bouchard out there. You know what I mean?
Clean it up.
He had less than 20 minutes last night.
Yeah, just over 18 minutes, which was interesting. Only a couple of power plays, but still, it still says something.
Yeah, they had 8 seconds of power play time, and there was no overtime.
Yeah.
So he didn't tick over 20.
In the Odd Company YouTube chat right now, we have a gentleman named Marion Hosa. Hopefully you're doing well, Marion.
Legend.
Put in a few times that he was maybe the guy that mentioned over the summer that the Oilers should go and get Steven Stamkos. Steven Stamkos so far this season, 1 goal, 2 points, -6 in 14 games for the Nashville Predators. I mean, if we're rolling back the years and we get that 60-goal guy from 2012, that would be special.
Well, the Oilers are in a situation where they have to trade or send to waivers 2 or 3 players over the next week or whenever Hyman's back, just to fit under the salary cap. So, in Nashville, Barry Trotz isn't convinced they're horrible yet.
I think he's going to become the head coach. Did you see that news?
Yeah.
I think Barry Trotz might be one of the worst GMs in the league. And people don't want to say it because he's a nice guy. He might be.
Absolutely, because he's a good hockey man and all of that. And he was one of the best head coaches over the course of 25 years. Nashville's been such a conservative organization with their front office. No one wants to say it, but all the moves that they did last summer,
brutal.
None of them have worked at all.
Not one.
At all.
So, yeah, maybe if they retain 50% on Stamkos,
and unfortunately, they've got Preds in the community, as we saw on Saturday Night Live.
Nothing you can do about that, unfortunately. Tough team name if you want to be in the community, but
Preds in the community.
Maybe they could do I don't know, nothing.
I was going to say when you're reading off the Stauffer quote, if you play Principe and I'll play Stauffer, and you ask me if I'm
friends.
Yeah, no,
I haven't.
No,
I'm a man.
No. Yeah.
Let's quickly go into Bordzy's bankroll, which is, of course, presented by Bet365. You can download the app today and get in on the action over at Bet365. Where it's never ordinary, Michael. It's never ordinary. You can use the code NATION to get in on the action. I'm going to place a few shillings down on some things. And this is what I'm going to go with.
50p on this one.
50p on this one, 20p on the other.
Yeah.
So here's a couple.
Yeah.
Sorry, Brett. I didn't tell you what they were, which is my bad. We're going to go with the Evan Bouchard shot prop, which is over 2.5 plus 155. He's hit this now in 3 straight games. I like that one.
Yeah.
I also like Connor McDavid 2+ points, as we mentioned earlier on. Go Oilers from Jay. Connor McDavid 2+ points -110. He is now contributed on 5 straight goals for the Oilers. And this next one is your pick. Go ahead.
Well, I think the first period total under 1.5. I know this isn't going to electrify people, but I'm just looking at the evidence of what we've seen of Oilers road games, and the Oilers have played first periods under 7 out of 8 times on the road this year. They come out slowly, but so does the opponent typically. It's the home games that have crushed me. I will say I have bet this in real life. Anytime I've bet it, I've lost. It's gone to the over. So follow or fade. Either way, you're getting good information.
Yeah.
I've feel free. You guys should not feel bad about having a poor record on Oilers Nation every day.
I mean, it's terrible.
Because people should just bet the opposite.
I agree.
And they'd win.
They would win.
You know what I mean?
Win a lot more money.
You're either going to be really good or really bad. Because being just below 500 and something like this,
good. Do you know the first
that's not usable.
A part about all of that is I obviously place other bets outside of the one I have to give to the show.
Mm-hmm.
And I nail it every single time.
Sure, yeah.
The one I don't get is always the one I put on that damn challenge where I might get a fake 10 down the road.
Yeah.
Which would just not be my cup of tea. I'll tell you that much. But anyway, go ahead, Breadman. Sorry.
Actually, we have a Bordzy's bankroll from the Dominican Republic.
Oh, okay. Let's see what Aaron's put together. I guess.
Aaron's cooked one up here. You ready for this?
Is
this
it
is his
3.5 margaritas to the over.
This is his little Dominican Republic Bordzy's bankroll.
Oh,
He's got number 29, Leon, 3+ shots at -180. Jake Wallman, Jake the Snake, 3+ blocks. And Connor, 2+ points. 2+ points seems to be kind of the layup here, but I think 97 and 29 are going to be like everybody we have talked about already. They did not have any shots in St. Louis. I think they're going to come with a bust of bees in their chest here and start shooting and making something happen. And then, of course, why not? Little Jake the Snake get in front of a couple blocks, couple shots. Why not? I think that's Bordzy's mindset here.
There you go. Is that actually the Dominican? Did he take that photo, Brett?
This was a photo that I found on Google Images.
Oh. I would have guessed.
I don't know.
Also,
A bust of bees sounds dangerous. A bust of bees. What was a Bonnie Blue? A bust of bees?
Whoa.
Hey, now.
Let's quickly get into our keys to victory, which are brought to you by us being at Dogpatch, because I'm not sure if there's any other sponsors that need it, but we should give some more love to our friends at Dogpatch. It's actually filling up a little bit down here. It's pizza night, like I said.
Yeah.
You can come and enjoy the game. We're just getting it on right now. We'll have some audio for you guys too. Also, if you're in the YouTube chat right now, please leave a like. It's free and it pays our bills.
Yes, it does. You know, every like I get 1 cent added to my article contract. So
yeah, so
please
consider doing that.
Please, for the price of a cup of coffee, I could get a cup of coffee.
Let's get into your keys to victories, Michael. What do you think of it tonight?
Well, I think this is going to be much more of a mucky type of hockey game that the Oilers are going to have to approach with. We're going to try to outwill the Dallas Stars as much as outskill. Obviously, we know the lineup for the Stars is not at full strength. We know that, you know, like you say, McDavid 5 straight cashing in the points. But I'd like to see us play a more physical brand of hockey in this game. And I'm curious to see how that rolls into the specialty teams. So Oilers first, you got Glenn Gulletson ran that power play in Edmonton at 27% over 5 years. He's got the Stars power play over 30%, but the Stars PK has struggled. So can the Oilers take advantage if and when they do get power plays? But you got to start here. You got a few days off after this. I know it's the 13th game in 22 days. I'll say it again. You lose this in regulation, you're 500, and there's going to be, you know, a bit of a what's wrong with the Oilers sort of narrative for 3 days. It's going to happen. Or you're going to be 2 games above 500 with a victory. This is one that you'd like to show it to. They've lost their last 2 in Dallas in the regular season. And let's see if they can generate and get, you know, a bottom 6 goal to help uplift them, not have it be so much on the shoulders of 97 and 29.
Yeah, I got a few keys to victory in the chat here. Cedric said, my key to victory is actually play hockey. That would be beneficial.
Well, avoid the big mistake.
Yeah, and that's what Stealth Legend said as well.
Yeah.
So beating yourself. And Mr. Burns is in. He said, score goals, don't let Dallas do that. Pretty simple stuff. I'm going to say, actually, like, try and get him a little bit here at 5-on-5, too. Like, special teams, it's like both your strengths and weaknesses. But I know the Oilers have struggled at 5-on-5, but Dallas has struggled a lot more than them, it seems like. So they're missing some guys. You have a relatively healthy lineup. Obviously, no Hyman, but we've had that all season long. So I just want to see him kind of get going a little bit at 5-on-5 here. And I don't need him to have 5 goals in one game or one period, but like, give me 1 or 2 at least, you know?
Yeah. Well, because we know, and this is where I'm saying this is going to be the end of chapter 1 for the season, because we're going to have to start believing what they show us when they've played 15 times this year.
Yeah.
You know, at some point, Bill Parcells, Hall of Fame, Super Bowl winning coach, said, you are what your record says you are. And we know what the Oilers have done in the past. And I'm not saying, like you mentioned, where the season's gone or whatever, but at some point, we have to believe what the team is telling us.
100%.
And that's very hard for the Oilers. I've hardly ever felt that in my whole entire life, because just when you think it's one way, they zag or they zig, and whether that's good or bad. You know what I mean?
Totally. Okay, we'll wrap it up here. We'll give us your score predictions in the chat. Give me your first goal scorer tonight for the Edmonton Oilers and your final score prediction.
Let's go with Henrique.
Oh,
Henrique, that's probably a good number you could get there. First goal for Dallas. We went Taylor. Obviously, Boston went Tyler. He just had his 1,000th game the other
really?
night.
Wow.
Yeah, 1,000 games for Tyler Seguin. I'll go Seguin for Dallas.
I'll say first goal of the game goes to Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. I think the Oilers, I think they can squeak this one out. I'm going to say a 4-2 game with an empty net goal. I don't think there'll be a lot of goals, despite Casey DeSmith being in that again for the Dallas Stars. If you're looking over at Bet365 for something to cash on there. And for Dallas, I'll say some random guy gets a goal. Oscar Back.
Yeah, Oscar Back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oscar Back gets a goal, but the Oilers win. In the Odd Company YouTube chat right now, we've got Cedric in 3-1 win for the Oilers. Mr. Burns is in again, 3-1 win. Nugent Hopkins at the goal. Travis, your friend that you paid 4-2 Oilers. And Bob Stoffer said Rico posted 1,000 stash. I like it.
I just want to hear the phrase from Jack tonight, which we haven't heard a lot.
Okay.
Pulsating hockey.
Yeah.
Pulsating
'Cause
action.
nothing's been exciting.
We haven't seen a lot of pulsating action
No.
so far. But,
Down the stretch they go.
here come the Oilers. Yeah, exactly. Like, we haven't had those type of electric moments. We have had tremendous anecdotes of Bob Seger concerts not attended, interactions with Carson Soucy's dad. I love when he sprinkles those in, but Jack's at his best when he's calling an exciting third period,
Yeah.
the last 5 minutes, a great stretch.
Yeah, we
So,
need that for Jack tonight, I think. A couple more in as we
think
wrap
about the
up show.
broadcasters. Hey, the
Yeah.
broadcasters got to do it too. Let me tell you, they travel just as much as the players.
Especially you, just road games this season.
Yeah, just roll.
I hope
Yeah.
you get your Fall McMurray trips at bucked off this year.
I worked in my contract that I get a hotel room for the Fort Mac trips because I'm
nice.
not driving there and back in the same day.
No.
In the same day,
No.
forget it. So, but all those are nice in January and March, nice and cold times of year to
Yeah,
go up
totally.
to Fort McMurray.
Beautiful spot.
Honestly, I love their rink.
Oh, how can you not?
Going
Yeah.
to their
Is it
building.
Central Fire Center.
It's now the Casman Center, but that
Okay.
building is the fans are right on top of the Oil Barons. Put on a great show.
Yeah.
So,
Cedric is in. Are you guys doing more shows this week? There's no more pre-gaming, obviously, till the weekend because the Oilers don't play the next few games. Tyler will be back on Saturday with pre and post game. I'll be back tomorrow for Oilers Nation every day, and you can read your stuff online.
yeah.
Do you have anything coming up this week?
I talked to Edmonton Oil Kings head coach Jason Smith
Have I heard of
this
him?
morning, and great chat. And I think one or two of the clips have come out, but we're going to do an Oil Kings story. Hey, they're first in the East right now in the Western Hockey League, and they're going to have a home game tomorrow night. So check that one out. I mean, with the Oilers not in action, and then they go out west. They have their big West road trip
They might
coming
be
up
playing
in November.
Might play in my V's.
Yeah.
Probably got the V's on the schedule. Okay, well,
There you go.
good luck until that game, Edmonton Oil Kings. Until then, good luck tonight to the Edmonton Oilers because we desperately need you to win. Please don't make any mistakes. I don't want to talk about Bouchard. It's going to all down on this for the next 3 days. Until then, we will see you on the post-game show following tonight's game against the Dallas Stars. Oil up!